Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast Retro Life for You. My name is Chris Adams, host of the show. Co hosting with us this week, you might recognize this guy if you're looking at the video. If not, you'll definitely recognize the voices of the uber cool 80s flick splashback, Mr. Tim. Tim,
Hello,
how's it going, man?
doing good, man.
Doing
Talking
good.
about the Three Amigos, one of the funniest comedies from the '80s for sure.
That is right. You know, wherever there's injustice, you'll find them. Wherever there's suffering, they'll be there. And wherever liberty is threatened, do you know who you will find?
The Three Amigos!
Exactly. Talk about a one of the most recognizable salutes of all time.
Right.
It's it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine today from high school. Our senior year, they decided they didn't want to do annuals, or maybe they did do annuals, but they added something a little twist to it as well. And they made what they called the video yearbook. So
Yeah.
VHS was still a big thing at the time, obviously
Yep.
1990, 91. And him and two of our other friends got captured by the people doing the videos, little video clips, and they're doing the Three Amigos salute. So I have the video here somewhere. Of course, not on the computer, but I mean my VHS tape somewhere still to this
Right.
day.
Right.
No way to play it and put it on there or anything, but it's still funny to me that that's the one thing that they do, and today is the one the Three Amigos are doing. So I told him today. I said, doing a podcast tonight because he has this tendency sometimes to call when I'm recording, and I said, I'm recording tonight. Don't do it. Don't call. But
hmm
I said, you'll never guess what we're doing though. I said we're doing the podcast over one of your favorite comedies. It's got one of your favorite salutes of all time. He started laughing. He said, "Not the Three Amigos." Yes, sir. Hey, I'm just wondering, between me and you
hmm
talking about this tonight, will we have a plethora of facts?
Yes. We definitely have a plethora
But,
of facts.
but do you know what a plethora is? Because I
Ye-
would hate for you to tell me that we have a plethora of facts and you don't even know what a plethora is. This
Uh,
movie's got so many fun things
it's
in
one of
it.
the best. That's one of the best bits for sure.
Oh yeah,
So, but
definitely.
what I want to know is, after this episode, will this podcast become infamous? Like
Oh,
not just famous, but more than famous. You're infamous.
exactly. I'm hoping so. I really am hoping so. That might be the podcast episode that makes this show just take off.
Exactly.
And I can say I owe it all to Tim. If it happens, Travis, and you're listening, kicking you to the curb, man, we're bringing Tim back full time. So there. But no, great
No.
show. It was really a great show. Great movie. It was really
Yes.
fun. I mean, like I told you earlier, I kind of rewatched not all of it today. I was close to seeing the end of it, but I didn't quite make it to the end. Uh, and this movie just cracks me up. Like I said, so many one-liners in it, and you got three people. I can't think of any three people better that could have done this together than Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Chevy Chase.
Yep. Yep.
They've been in so many, individually on their own,
Right.
so
Oh
many
yeah,
great
yeah.
things. So, of the three of them, though, do you have a preference? Which one do you like more?
Who um it's a toss up between, and no disrespect to the great Martin Short, but it's a toss up between Steve Martin and Chevy Chase. Chevy almost edges it out just a little bit because he's so goofy and
Mhm.
lovable in this one. Like he's not the lead. I feel like he was having a little bit more fun with it, so he didn't feel the pressure of having to be the lead in it. Whereas Steve Martin, of course, he's just playing that Steve Martin lead role.
Right.
So, but the role is great. But some of the things that Chevy Chase does in this are so funny. Um, Even
It's
some of
like
the
little
sight,
subtle.
yeah,
It's like
subtle
little
sight
subtle
gags.
humor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When he tells him, toward the end of it, when Steve Martin's to Gary cover, he's like, Dusty, cover El Guapo. Everybody guns down. Not you, Dusty. Pick
You're
your
right.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love when they're eating them. They're having dinner the first time in the village, and he's trying to eat the burrito, but he's not folding the end. So every time he pulls the burrito up, the stuff falls out. He's like, do you guys have anything besides Mexican food?
Right.
That makes me laugh. And then one of my other favorites is when the lady is like coming on to him, and she was like, have you ever kissed a girl before? Yeah. Would you like to kiss me? Sure. And there's this long pause, and she was like, we could go for a walk on the veranda. Kiss my lips is fine. It's like, he's just
you're close. She goes, he goes, what you mean now here?
Right.
And she's like, well, we can take a walk on the veranda. She said, we can take a walk and you can kiss me on the veranda.
Yeah.
He says, oh, the lips are fine.
Right. Yeah. Those are some of my favorite lines of his. And then of course when he shoots the invisible swordsman, that is another one of my favorites. So.
How am I supposed to know where he's at?
You're supposed to fire in the air, right? Yeah.
It's like gosh, it's like a 6-year-old.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. My all-time favorite scene with Chevy Chase is them going through the desert, and
oh yes, I know where you're going.
And Martin Short and Steve Martin have nothing in their cantina, and it goes to Chevy, and he's just like guzzling the water, and then just tosses it, on the side, and you see it, dripping, just flowing out into the desert.
Right.
Oh my! And the looks on their face is so funny. He's like, he puts the chapstick on. I mean, like that whole bit is just.
But then he offers them chapstick. He don't offer them water.
Right.
He offered them chapstick. And the funny thing before that, you see Steve Martin turning his up, and just little drops come out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Martin Short turns it up, and sand comes out all over his face and his mouth.
Right.
It's crazy. This movie, man. I'll get back down here. Released December 12th, 1986. So the budget of $25 million estimated.
Right.
Now, I don't know what they consider a success in Hollywood, technically. I mean, I would think anything you made more than what you spent is a success, right? It's obviously not a box office smash.
No, it didn't do as well as they had hoped.
No, it did not. And I'm surprised with the three of them in it. For being such big comedians and having some successful other movies, I would have thought this would have done better. Opening weekend only took in, well, let's just say $6 million.
Right.
And it grossed worldwide $39,246,734.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they made about 14.2 million over what it estimated budget was, but still. Runtime hour and 44 minutes, not bad. It gives you nice time to be sitting down, not sitting too long, but long enough to get a good story out of it. So that was good. And let's see here. Get to the people in the cast here. Let's take a quick look and run that down because there were some pretty cool names in here.
Oh yeah.
All right, so here we got Steve Martin playing the name Lucky Day. And their names crack me up too.
Yeah.
As you know, if you notice on mine, you've got Tim 80s Flicks Flashback.
Oh, yeah,
Normally I'll put Retro Life for You underneath mine, retrolifeforyou.com.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't resist, and I put my name as Dusty Bottoms, which is Chevy Chase's character. And then, of course, Martin Short. Now, when you come to these three alone, I mentioned earlier so many great, past movies and everything. Of the three, Martin Short probably had the least amount of movies that I can remember really watching and enjoying.
Yeah.
He had a couple that I really did like.
Yeah.
But his Saturday Night Live work was great, though.
SCTV, Saturday Night Live, yeah.
Yeah. What now? Was Ed Grimley? That was SNL, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I used to know. I don't remember if he started that one on SCTV and then brought it to SNL, or maybe it was just SNL.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But then it became a cartoon and all that too. Yeah,
I think I remember seeing it on SNL.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think it was on SNL, so it probably was SNL, not SCTV.
Now, I want to say now the one movie that sticks out to me, other than Three Amigos, of course, um, and I believe it had the number three in it also in the title. The Three Fugitives, I think, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Martin.
Yep.
So there
Him
was
and Nick Nolte.
him and Nick Nolte and this little girl playing his daughter. He
Mm-hmm.
was trying to, I think Nick Nolte, that was Nick Nolte, an ex-con trying to just get started on his way. Like he was cashing the check they
Yeah.
gave him to get started on.
I think it's been a long time since I've seen that one, so it's a little. I don't remember that one as well, but that sounds pretty close to being right.
Yeah. I'll take a quick look. We've been doing things a little bit differently lately. I know you haven't been on in a little while.
Yeah.
We've been going through the cast of people and going back and seeing some of the stuff that they've done in the past and talking about a little bit of things of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, where is it at here?
Well,
Yep, Three Fugitives. That's it.
Yep.
Ned Perry. Oh, and I completely forgot Inner Space.
I was gonna say Inner Space is probably my favorite Martin Short movie.
That's a good one. Definitely a good one. And honestly, when I asked you was it SNL, I completely forgot he was on SCTV. A lot of people came from SCTV.
Yeah.
People just don't realize how many people did. And Ed Grimley is a character on SCTV.
Okay, there you go.
I'm looking at it right now. That is a list of things he's done.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So, man. Let's see a little bit further back. I don't want to go too far back since we're in the 80s here, but nothing really notable for me in the 70s that I can see.
He was on an episode of The Love Boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Taxi.
Yeah. But yeah, this was Three Amigos was really like his big break into the movies, and that's what started his friendship with Steve Martin. That's where they met and became close friends, which of course is why he had him in his Father of the Bride movies.
Yes. Father of the Bride was a fun movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Pure Luck?
I did. Yep, I did see that one.
That was a crazy movie.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Captain Ron as well, him and Kurt Russell in 92.
I've never seen Captain Ron.
Oh my goodness, that's a good one. I remember going to the theater and seeing that one.
So you're telling me I'm going to have to watch this movie now?
Yes. Very enjoyable comedy popcorn flick. Don't expect, it's not changing the face of cinema, but it's a fun, entertaining movie. Kurt Russell's hilarious in it.
A lot of these 80s and early 90s and movies like that, none of them were really life-changing movies.
No.
And I think that's why we like them so much.
Exactly.
Because it's nothing too serious. It's nothing that's going to, bring you down, but it's nothing that's going to save the world either. It's just a good time. You sit down for an hour and a half or so, hour and 45. Yeah, and you have a good time with it. That was, the thing about I remember going to the theaters. Like you said, popcorn flick. The one thing you always want when you go to the theaters, you're looking for your popcorn and your drink. And that's the highlight of your time mostly when you go there. Because something about popcorn at the theater was always 10 times better than making popcorn at home.
Always. Even when I try at home, it's never the same.
Right, it's not. And then, of course, you get your big fountain drink. You go sit down. You enjoy the movie. It's fun. And if you get you a good comedy, even better. Because you laugh the whole night while you're out. Mars Attacks. He was in that. The Three Stooges Greatest Hits, a TV movie. Now I don't think I remember that.
No, I saw that on there. I think he was just an
MC, it says. So he wasn't really playing one of the roles or anything.
Nope.
Anything else notable? Let's see here.
Santa Claus 3 as Jack Frost. It's pretty big.
Yeah, looks like he was a voice in Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
He's done a lot of voice work.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. He has.
Prince of Egypt. There was another one. Yeah. Treasure Planet.
Now, I'm not really a fan of Arrested Development, but quite a few people I know love that show. I see he's on that. How I Met Your Mother. Okay, it was a popular TV series. Yeah, he's been around and done some good work. I mean, he's definitely not gone away, but he's got a lot of work that I don't know either.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, I'm looking through here and it's like I didn't know he was on, some of these shows. I mean, they're guest star roles, of course. Right. He wasn't like full cast members, but to see pop up on those kind of shows. And of course, now he's got the Only Murders in the Building on Hulu with him and Steve Martin, which we started watching season 1 and like we liked it, but we just haven't finished it. So that's when I have to pull back up and watch, because I think it's the 3rd season. I think is about to start now. So
Cool.
or it's the next one coming out.
Well, let's take a look here at Steve Martin. Now, off the top of my head, I keep thinking of The Jerk and Roxanne.
Mhm.
Gosh,
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Sergeant Bilko.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's one right there that I watched a lot when it came out. Sergeant Bilko was hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Getting back here toward his early work, let's see what he's got. We've got appearances on some variety shows, of course.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know he's got to be on something like that. SNL, of course. Do you remember him making a record?
I do. Yeah.
Not many people I asked that remembered it or know of it, and I'm like, I remember it because I wore that record out.
Yeah, there was a season that we really got into when I first got introduced to like stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Bill Cosby himself was a big, like that was a movie that they played on HBO all the time. That was kind of what I kind of got, like, oh, this is like something that people do. And so we started finding like all the comedy albums, like the old Bill Cosby comedy albums. There was some George Carlin, which I wasn't allowed to listen to, but and Richard Pryor. Yeah, Richard Pryor. But then I remember somebody had one of Steve Martin's albums, and I remember listening to that as a kid. So
now the album, I mean the record in particular I'm talking about though is actually a song, not a stand-up comedy. So do you remember any songs that he did?
No.
So I don't know if it was something because that it come off of SNL, off a skit, or if he was reenacting the song as a skit on SNL. I'm not sure which came first, but he did King Tut.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, I think that he did it as a sketch, and they may have released it because it was such a big, it was so popular when it aired that they put it out on a record. But I remember, I mean, I think I still do. I have the best of. I still have like some DVDs of like the best of Eddie Murphy, the best of Chris Farley, and I may have the best of Steve Martin because I know that one is on there. So
Steve Martin on SNL. Now, the one thing that stands out to me easy is him and Dan Aykroyd.
Mm-hmm. Two wild and crazy guys.
That's it. Talking about looking for some American women on the American dates.
Right.
Two wild and crazy guys. That was too much. Let's see. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. I somewhat remember that. The Man with Two Brains.
Mm-hmm.
The Jerk. Gosh, of course, Three Amigos. Three Amigos wasn't what made him stand out, though. I think it was The Jerk.
Oh, The Jerk was his breakout role for sure.
Yeah, because like I said, he had a few others before that, but The Jerk really stood out for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we got Three Amigos. He went to Roxanne. Gosh, what was that character name? Roxanne Cyrano. Let me see here. Well, it's C.D. Bales is what it says, but the C stood for
yeah. I can't say it, but I know what you're talking about. Cyrano de Bergerac or something like that.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I was drawing a blank. That is it right there, though. And of course, it's funny because it's like he jokes on himself the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that makes it funny, and it's because he's joking. Because for those of you who haven't watched it, he's got this, this very long nose,
like a Pinocchio nose,
except it doesn't keep growing, obviously. But I mean, it's a long nose,
right?
And he just he likes to smell of coffee in the morning, all the way in France or something like that.
Yeah,
I forget how that line goes.
Yeah, that's one I haven't watched in a long time, but I remember seeing that one in the theater and really liking it.
Now, I'm going to tell you something I did not watch, and I don't know why, because it's got two good ones in it, but it just didn't stand out to me as something I wanted to see, which was Bowfinger.
Yeah, I've watched Bowfinger, and it's okay, but yeah, people when it came out, people raved about how great of a movie it was, and I didn't really see. It was funny, but I think because it was, Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood. And I think that was kind of the whole idea of it was poking fun at Hollywood, and so they liked seeing that part of it. But yeah,
Like Hollywood isn't crazy enough as it is anyway.
right.
I mean, it's not like we got people walking up on stage and slapping people and having that same person make fun of them in a stand-up comedy bit, and then having the person who actually slapped the person to begin with turn around and sue him because he's mad over the comedy bit. It's not like it
crazy.
was like that.
Right.
Crazy world. Let's see here. Man, he's got so many little short things going on. I mean, little small TV series tidbits, still doing all kinds of stuff clear up until 2023. And I must have missed, or I'm not looking at his acting performances. Well, no, this no wonder this is writer.
Oh yeah, if you go to the top, it's all the writing stuff he did.
My bad. It's different than what it usually is for things. Because I was like, "Where's Sergeant Bilko?"
Oh yeah, it's on there.
There's Sergeant Bilko, 1996. Sergeant Bilko, Ernest G. Bilko. Great stuff. Leap of Faith was kind of funny. I didn't watch. I don't think I remember watching the whole movie.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times. It's actually really good. It's a good. I mean, that's a kind of a depart. It was more of a drama. It has some comedy in it, but it's very much a drama. Young Liam Neeson, before he was a big movie star, is in that as well. So, but yeah, it's a good movie. That was when he was kind of trying to do some more serious stuff at that time. Because
you mentioned earlier Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yes.
Funny movie. But I got to tell you, my absolute favorite Steve Martin of all time, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. That's that's one of the best for sure.
And I want to bring this one up only because last week we did, if you haven't heard it yet, I don't know if you did or not, but we did Goodfellas. Someone, I think I read in the little fun fact area of Goodfellas that the guy who was Ray Liotta's character that he was modeled after or playing, Steve Martin in My Blue Heaven is playing the role of the same guy, but I think they call him a different name.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be based on his his real life stuff when he went into the witness protection program. And I remember reading that, I was like, man, that is crazy because it came out about the same time Goodfellas came out. It was the same year, 1990.
Yeah, 1990. Yeah, exactly.
Man, and then of course, so like I said, so many more Steve Martins. We could go all night long on his.
Yeah, he's got a very full filmography.
Let's get back over here to Mr. Chevy Chase because I can tell you right now, National Lampoons. That's all we have to say for Chevy Chase is National Lampoons.
The Vacation trilogy.
The Vacations.
Caddyshack.
Of course, Fletch was good.
Fletch is probably my favorite. Yeah, it's like Fletch and Christmas Vacation are probably my two favorite Chevy Chase movies.
And of course, once again, we've mentioned SNL on the previous two. Well, Chevy Chase is also an old school SNL guy.
Oh yeah.
Physical comedy. He was kind of known for some good physical comedy on there. Always falling down, tripping. I mean, when I think of physical comedy, he's actually not the first person that comes to mind, but he did do it well in SNL. I'm always thinking like of Three's Company with John Ritter. The Jack Tripper character he played. I mean, that was always some great physical comedy and everything. I wonder now, did you see? Because I didn't watch it, but did you see the Vacation movie where I believe the son?
Yes.
Has carried it through now and taken it over.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it once. It was okay. I mean, it's but yeah, they cameo at the beginning of the movie, so which I enjoyed.
I mean, is it something like you'd really recommend to somebody, or not that great?
Nah, I mean, if it's on and there's nothing else on, then definitely you could watch it and not feel too bad about yourself, but I wouldn't seek it out as something as a must watch.
What's the earliest Chevy Chase movie you remember watching? Or even the earliest that you've seen?
The earliest one is Modern Problems. That one played on HBO a lot. That one and Oh Heavenly Dog Oh Heavenly Dog was 1980. Of course, that was Benji when Benji was like a big. There were several Benji movies at that point.
Yeah.
So I remember watching that a ton on cable, as well as Modern Problems. Under the Rainbow with him and Carrie Fisher, I remember seeing a lot
Yeah.
as a kid. I don't know which of those three. I can't tell you which one I saw first because they all kind of blend together in my mind. Just I remember watching them on cable, but
What made Chevy Chase big for me
uh-huh.
was Foul Play and Seems Like Old Times.
Yeah, see, I started watching. Was it Foul Play? I started watching last year because I'd never seen. I don't think I've never seen either of those all the way through. So I've got to go back and watch those.
So Foul Play, I believe, is the one that's got the albino killer in it, right?
I don't remember. I saw the one that had Charles Grodin in it. Which one is
That
that?
Seems Like Old Times.
Okay, yeah, I started watching that one, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Foul Play yet.
Chevy Chase is Nicholas Gardenia, and I believe he's Goldie Hawn's ex-husband.
Right,
in the movie.
right.
And I think he's wanted. He's being wanted for something.
He got kidnapped or something at the beginning. Like some guys kidnapped him because they wanted him to. I remember if they wanted him to steal because I think he's on parole and they want him to steal something, and so he, so he goes to her to get help. And of course, her new husband, played by Charles Grodin, doesn't like him, and that's about as far as I got.
So if that's the case, then Foul Play is the one that's got the albino killer, but Foul Play also has Goldie Hawn in it too.
Right.
So
that's why I couldn't remember which one of the two it was that I'd started, but I didn't get a chance to finish.
Yeah, I'll take a look here and I'll get the guy's name for you. I see Dudley Moore's in it as well. I'd forgotten about that actually. Burgess Meredith. This is a movie I could go back and watch and do a show on actually.
Which one is that? Foul Play?
Yeah, Foul Play. It's been a good while. About that time frame, yeah. Then there's also the guy Billy Barty who was in it. I'd forgotten about that. I don't know what the killer's name was though. I mean, for being the albino guy. Let's see. Oh, his name was Whitey Jackson. Go figure.
Oh, there you go. Played by William Frankfather.
Yes, that's it right there. About this time frame when this came out. I know this is getting a little way off base, but like I always do anyway. Peter Falk, did Columbo, right?
Yeah.
He did this movie called All the Marbles. He was a wrestling manager for a women's tag team. Foul Play, All the Marbles, Seems Like Old Times. For whatever reason, those three movies I would wear out at that time frame. I'd watch them over and over. And at that time, you weren't really renting VCRs and VHS tapes. It was the video disc players.
Oh, okay.
So do you remember video disc players?
I do. Yeah, I do.
So you take the big square disc thing, you push it in, you pull it back out, and it plays it. You get halfway through the movie, and then you got to push it back in, flip it over. Exactly.
Yep.
Oh.
I had one friend in like elementary school that had one, and I think we watched one movie of his, at his house or whatever on it. And then I had one friend that had a beta. Everybody else had VHS, but I had one friend that had a beta player that had a bunch of Betamax or beta cartridges,
right,
with Sam Kinison stand-up specials he'd recorded.
Wow.
So
well, back to the video disc players. The thing I remember the most with that is Rocky 3 and He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
Wow.
I would every time we go there, I would want to rent Masters of the Universe and I would want to rent Rocky 3. Because if you just watch the backside of Rocky 3 only, it starts off with the training montage with him.
Oh, nice.
Apollo
Creed, yeah.
And working his way to the big rematch. So I was like, that's the best part of the movie. I just want to watch the backside of it. Just flip it over automatically and start there.
Right.
And then, of course, He-Man. At that age, I could remember watching He-Man and stuff. That was a fun cartoon. Of course, when you look back on it as an adult, you question yourself sometimes. Like, why is he dressed that way? Why is it? How does he go from being fully dressed as Prince Adam to wearing that
a loincloth? Yeah.
It's like Beastmaster. It was a cartoon. I noticed you put Beastmaster up on your thing.
Oh yeah,
on your Facebook, or I'm sorry, your Instagram. So I mean, like we mentioned earlier, I mean, all kinds of National Lampoon, Spies Like Us, He
Oh,
was in a
yeah.
video with Paul Simon. You Can Call Me Al.
Yes, I remember
That
that
was
video very fondly.
that was kind of a big deal. Paul Simon, to me, Paul Simon was not a very huge star to me at the time. I didn't realize who he was at the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Then you find out later, what group he
Simon
was
and Garfunkel, yeah.
right and how big he was and everything during that time frame. And the "You Can Call Me Al" song was kind of fun.
Mhm.
And of course, Chevy Chase makes everything funnier.
Right, exactly.
And Caddyshack. I'll touch on Caddyshack because that was an all-time fun character of his, I think.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Cannot go wrong there. Not going to get into his newer stuff because there's a crap ton of it on there like the others are. And we only have so long, right?
Right, exactly.
So El Guapo,
Mhm.
Alfonso Areu. Is that how you say his name?
Sure.
I don't think I mean, he's got, okay, by his picture on IMDb, I don't know who he is. As El Guapo, I feel like I've seen him in several movies.
Yeah, he was in Romancing the Stone that came out a couple years before that. He had it's like a small, like almost like a cameo role on there.
Yeah.
He was on an episode of Miami Vice. But yeah, he pops up here and there on some things, but he wasn't like a well-known actor.
No. And then, of course, his number 2 guy, Jefe,
Mhm.
Tony Plana.
Lana, and he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He's got one of those faces too that I know I've seen, and I can't pull none of them out of my mind right now. The lead role, well, I don't want to say lead. We'll call her the lead lady, Carmen, Patrice
Yeah.
Martinez. I honestly will tell you, I've never seen her in anything before.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, going back to when we did our episode on this. Like, she had a couple of things, but once again, she
Well, I
wasn't.
mean, okay, so I mean, just to say real quick, Zorro,
Mhm.
with the 1990 this TV series, not the movie, by the way.
Right.
She's in TV series Magnum PI. If you have 3 episodes, she was a receptionist in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like she did more TV work than movies, it looks like.
Yeah, I just pulled her up to take a quick look. She's got an uncredited role in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Girl in Train.
Right.
TV series Air America. Gunsmoke, The Return to Dodge. Did not know that. Looks like she probably plays the role of an Indian on it. Miami Vice, Convoy. I haven't seen Convoy in a long time. So she's been around a little bit. I just did not know because she doesn't have any huge roles I can really remember her from.
Right.
Now, this stands out to me as funny. I mean, okay, I know it's got like, there's a couple other names I'll bring up in a minute, but that had small parts in it. But the bartender,
Yes.
Fred Asparagus, that is your stage name?
Sure.
Why would you go? Why would you go with Fred Asparagus? Where did he
It's not a name. It's not a name that you'll quickly forget, I'm sure.
I mean, now that I've seen it, I'm not gonna forget it.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Kai Wolf, was that how you say it? Kai, I guess Kai, Cobra Kai, Kai
Sure.
Wolf. I remember him being in MacGyver, the TV series MacGyver. That's the only place I remember
Really?
seeing him from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the German that was flying the plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, scoot back down here. I wanted to go over, me, I like to throw fun trivia things in here. Did you know that Steve Martin? You see him doing the tricks in the movie, right? The lasso tricks. I thought, well, so he learned some lasso tricks for the movie, right? But no, he's actually says he learned the lasso tricks while working in a magic shop at Disneyland as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Always able to do that. You said you did this show once before a while back. Did you find anything fun and interesting about it when you were going over it?
Yeah, I tried to see if I could pull up my old notes that I had on it, but I didn't. They weren't quick to pull up. But I know that Steve Martin wrote the script for the movie. He took it to Lorne Michaels at Saturday Night Live, and I guess Lorne Michaels has a writing credit on it, but we don't. Me and my co-host on that, he was like, I don't think Lorne Michaels wrote anything on it. He probably just wanted to be included. And then Randy Newman is listed as one of the writers, but I think it's because he wrote the songs in the movie. So this was pretty much a Steve Martin movie for sure. And that's why I think some of the jokes I can tell are definitely like Steve Martin style of jokes. Um, but other fun facts, the bats that they're eating around the campfire is actually just fried bacon on skewers, which I thought was great because I
Yeah.
remember as a kid, like, are they really eating a bat? That's disgusting. Yeah, the cantina is actually called Cantina del Barraco, which translates of canteen of the drunk or bar of the drunk. So once again, that's one of those just funny things that Steve Martin. We talked about the names like Nedlander and
Yeah.
Dusty Bottoms, and like that's just
Lucky
Steve.
Day.
Yeah, that's just Steve Martin having fun with names. And then Jefe, which is El Guapo's right hand. Jefe is actually Spanish for boss. So you had the second guy with the name of boss. So those little subtle humor things I think were just great.
That's always fun. Steven Spielberg, they said, considered directing the film.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, some people might say maybe he made a mistake by not doing this because all these three large names, but he went on to do a different film called E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I guess it did okay.
Yeah, I guess, you win some, you lose some.
All right, exactly. He had said in interviews that his choices for the roles in this film were Steve Martin as Lucky Day, Bill
Mm-hmm.
Murray as Dusty Bottoms, and Robin
Mm-hmm.
Williams as Ned Nederlander.
Yeah.
God, that would have been good too, though. I mean, Bill
Oh,
Murray
yeah.
playing Dusty, because Bill Murray is just like Chevy Chase in a
Oh,
way
yeah,
with his
yeah,
little
yeah.
dry humor and subtle
Mhm.
stuff. Robin Williams, definitely, I can see him because whenever I see Ed Grimley, I think of Robin Williams, just because that energy he's got on
Yeah.
stage, running
Oh,
back
yeah,
and
yeah.
forth and stuff. Not because of how he
Mhm.
looks or anything, but
No, I get it.
I can see that though.
Yeah, one thing I don't know if it's in these notes, but I found in some of my research is that there was actually a deleted scene that they filmed with I think it was Sam Kinison was supposed to play like a mountain man that attacks them on the way. And I think there was something with him and John Landis. They didn't get along very well, or he didn't get along with Chevy Chase. And for whatever reason, the scene didn't get finished. They scrapped it from the whole thing. But we were talking about how, man, that would be like some footage we would love to find or, resurface somewhere, but it's never popped up anywhere. But, and then Fran,
never
and
know.
then Fran Drescher, Fran Drescher, the nanny, had a role at the beginning of the movie, but all her scenes were cut as well. So, because there was supposed to be more of them in Hollywood. Like there's a scene, and you can find this because I find it on YouTube. There is a deleted scene of them walking and having a conversation in the Hollywood studio where they're passing all of these different movies that are being filmed in the background. So it's a really cool scene because they're walking and you see like everything from like a caveman background to like a something contemporary, then like a all these different time period movies that are being shot as they're walking by. But Fran Drescher was supposed to be playing like this other this up and coming celebrity, and that's where the studio was trying to make movies with her in it instead of them, which is why they was a little bit more backstory why they got axed from the studio at the beginning. But they cut all that stuff out because then it definitely would have been a 2-hour long movie, and nobody wanted to see all that stuff at the beginning. But
well, you talking about the beginning of it, couple just I don't want to call them cameos, but I mean that were in there.
Yeah.
John Lovitz is Morty.
Yep.
And Joe
Mantegna.
Mm-hmm. As Flugelman.
Yep.
Okay, now I could have swore the third guy in that room was Phil Hartman.
That is Phil Hartman.
Okay, I thought it was, but I don't see his name credited right now. And in the one part I'm looking at here, he might be in the extended list of crew.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't hit the expanded list of all cast and crew, but I mean, I would have thought since he cameoed it, maybe he just wasn't considered big at that time,
Yeah, he was still just. I mean, him and Levitz were both just like SNL cast members, I think, at that point.
Right.
So,
but then Phil Hartman got kind of, as I don't want to say he got huge, but he got kind of big on SNL though for the characters he was doing and such, and had a few movies here and there. I want to say he was in Turbo Man. Jingle All the Way.
Yes.
As the neighbor. Can't believe I called it Turbo Man.
That probably would have been a better title for the movie, honestly. Yeah, Phil
Yep.
Hartman is listed. He's in the full credits. He's
Okay.
listed as Sam, but he was actually on the film. He was Philip E. Hartman, not Phil Hartman. So maybe that's why he didn't show up in the. He was credited as Philip E. Hartman with 2 N's.
Okay.
So
Man. So I know we talked earlier about some favorite things said in the movie, the favorite one-liners. I mean, do you have an absolute favorite scene in the movie?
My favorite scene, which is not necessarily the funniest scene, but when I think of Three Amigos, the scene that I always go to is them singing the song in the desert at night and the animals kind of singing
Oh.
along.
Blue Shadows.
Blue Shadows, yeah. I
Yes.
love, number one, I think it's a cool song. Like, I love the song, and it's just great just to see the three of them doing that song together. It's like My Little Buttercup is fun, but it's really just Steve Martin and Martin Short together. But to have all three of them in that is one of my favorites. But my favorite funny scene is the scene where they're actually fighting the first time they meet El Guapo, and he shoots, and Steve Martin realizes that he actually got shot. He's like, wait, this is, when he comes to the realization that this isn't a show, that they're really fighting real criminals, and
Right.
they all start crying and like,
Yes.
yes.
Like, what,
Yeah,
what
right.
are we even doing in
Right.
Mexico?
This means we're not going to get paid, so
Yeah.
that scene there always makes me laugh, and it's one of my favorites.
And he's
for
like,
sure.
and I've already got shot.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go talk to him
Mhm.
like men.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know if I have an actual favorite scene. in the
Yeah,
movie,
it's hard. It's hard to pick
honestly.
a favorite. It's hard to pick a
It
favorite.
really is. I mean, because like you said, and to kind of follow up with your talking about the Little Buttercup song a while ago,
Mhm.
I'm not going to play the little bit. We're laughing because I downloaded some little sample clips, and My Little Buttercup was one of them.
Mhm.
But the whole thing of why they did what they did, they get this
Telegram.
telegram. Thank you. They get this telegram sent to them, and so it's basically inviting them to come to this place. It looks like to perform a show
Mhm.
and to get the infamous El Guapo out of there. And so, of course, they misunderstand infamous. They say the infamous, as you mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
And not to mention, they had to shorten some of the telegram down so it doesn't tell you everything that they would have known ahead of time if it was left in its full message. They had to
Mhm.
cut it down because they couldn't afford the full message. So they think they're going for an appearance and to do a live show for somebody and get paid for it more than what they've made in the movies. Obviously, because I think they were working for free anyway. And they were tired of working for free, which caused the whole bit of them being kicked out and going to take this job.
Mhm.
So they get there to the bar, that you mentioned earlier, and they start, doing this performance because these people are real quiet. They don't understand why. They think they're friends of the German that just came in and shot a bunch of people up. So they're supposed to
Mhm.
treat them with respect.
Right.
So, they do the little My Little Buttercup scene. It's really humorous when you see it. Of course, not about as humorous as them coming out on the horses when the first three guys come there and he's
Mhm.
calling them names and son of a motherless goat.
Right.
He's like, son of a motherless goat. What? Is he talking to us?
Mhm.
I think a scene that's memorable to me though, that's kind of funny. And I'm not going to say it's my favorite scene. Like I said, I can't pick a favorite scene, but they have infiltrated El Guapo's camp, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Dusty Bottoms has swung across his rope all the way over into the place where they got Carmen at.
Mhm. Mhm.
Martin Short's character, Ned Nedlander, takes off swinging and he goes straight back up in the air. And I guess his spurs get
Yeah.
caught up in one
And
of
one
the
of the
pinatas.
pinatas. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the plethora of pinatas that are there. And then Steve Martin, lucky day. Let's just say it was his unlucky day because
Right.
he swung straight down face
Into the
first
dirt.
into the dirt. So later on, after they have already gotten Dusty Bottoms out there and caught him, they're talking about what they're going to do. what they've done, and they're like, we have robbed the villages or whatever, and then they're looking for more examples, and he's looking right at Chevy Chase, and he goes, we raped the horses,
Yeah, and
we
ran off.
rode out on the
old
women.
Yeah, we trimmed the hedges.
Yes, we pruned bushes in the villages. Who are you?
Right.
He's like the Hefe comes over and talks about it's one of them gringos. He goes, do we just have amigos falling out of the sky? And all of a sudden that's the cue. Dad Nederlander drops down face first to the table where he was stuck. And El Jefe's like, yes, El Guapo. You do.
Yep.
So that one kind of stands out to me, I think.
Yep. I was thinking of that scene as well. That is one of my favorites as well. Because it's definitely, it's totally a fake body that falls onto the table. You can tell as it hits. And then, that, and then another one that's funny too is I think before that, when they're trying to infiltrate the village and they're right outside like the city gates, and a couple of Guapo's men are coming by, and they just stand there and freeze.
What's up with that?
Right. And the guys just walk by them. Like they can't hide. They just freeze. Like,
right. It's like if we sit perfectly still,
no one can see us.
They won't see us.
Right. So, which I thought, it's those little silly things that make it great. It's just little subtle humor bits that are why it's so much fun to watch over and over again.
I've got two for you.
Go for it.
The subtle humor. All right, at the beginning of it, where they're showing them as a part of one of their little movie things.
Silent movies, yeah.
They're riding the horses and they're singing the Three Amigos song.
Oh, yeah.
And they hold that note for like 14 seconds.
Yeah.
You're exactly. Like, are they ever going to stop?
But that told you, I mean, in the beginning of the movie, that told you this is what type of movie you're about to watch. And if you didn't think that was funny, you didn't need to watch the rest of the movie because you're not going to like it. Right.
Yeah. This is tone.
This is what, exactly. This is what this movie is going to be. Absolutely 100%. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. Then also later in the movie where Dusty Bottoms, they're like, he goes, I'll throw this rock over there and distract him and we can go this way. And he throws the rock and he ends up hitting the guy in the face and he falls down off the top of the roof.
Right.
And they're looking at him like, okay, that works too. Yeah, it's like you said, subtlety stuff.
Another favorite scene is when they're when they go back, they sneak back into the studio to get their outfits, and Steve Martin's on top of the gate, and he's trying to signal to Martin Short and Chevy Chase and whatever. Look up here, hey, you guys, like that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we would roll laughing, like tears running our face, laughing so hard at that one.
That's exactly how it was the first time I seen it. Yeah. I knew when I watched it earlier, I was already expecting it. So I mean, it's not like it's going to get me again. But he starts out with a simple,
right,
and working his way up to caw, like you just said, and then God, the first time he goes, you guys, look up here,
right.
I'm just dying. I remember you're in the theater watching this, and you're all right. You're in the theater, people, okay, and you're seeing this absolute brilliant humor going on, and you're trying to hold your big tub of popcorn in your lap while you're trying to hold the laughter in, almost not be too loud and obnoxious with it. But holding that popcorn still, and instead, popcorn is just the bucket is bouncing and popcorn's going.
Right.
I mean, it's like watching the Swedish Chef on the Muppets, making his poop the corn, the shrimp,
right.
And this stuff just flying everywhere out of the things. It's such a great movie. And for any of you, anybody listening who's not watched The Three Amigos, I know I say this on a lot of movies we talk about. Watch it. You will not be disappointed. If you just like those good, funny movies with just little simple, funny stuff to make you laugh, like he said, until you cry, you will not be disappointed in this movie at all. And then go back and check out some of their past works.
Oh, yeah.
Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, great. Martin Short, got a few good things. I mean, but the other two, great stuff. You just can't be disappointed. I tell you what, Tim, we didn't do this at the beginning. We always do this at the beginning, and we didn't do it, man.
It's all right. It
Tell us
happens.
about your show, man. Tell us about your show. I mean, you just got back from a layover for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I took the month of March off and did some replays, which we played the episode of yours with Predator that I was a guest on, and that was a fun one.
Definitely.
But we just jumped back in. We did Fast Times at Ridgemount High, which I know you covered with the fabulous Lori. Is it Lori Tucker?
Lori Tucker. Lori's great.
Yeah,
She is
yeah. I listened.
such a great person.
Listened to the episodes with her and really enjoyed it. So we covered that one, the last new episode, and then upcoming this week, which will go to be after this releases, but we're jumping back into Friday the 13th. So I'm doing Friday the 13th for the final chapter. So that's what we got coming up. But always have another 80s flick loving guest co-host. We pick a movie to talk about, much like this. And I go a little bit more into the behind the scenes of how the movie got made. We talk about first time watch memories, favorite scenes, and then learn some fun facts about the cast and crew along the way. And we always have a lot of fun. But I'm excited about this summer. I'm doing a summer of sequels. So any movie we've covered that had a sequel in the 80s, well, not any of them, but a few we've done. So we're doing like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Ghostbusters 2, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Return of the Jedi, just to name a couple that we're going to cover between
awesome.
June and August. So looking forward to tackling those here in a couple of months.
Whatever you do, don't forget the best sequel movie of the 80s. All right. I can't believe you don't know what I'm getting at.
Oh, I mean, I'm trying to figure out which one you're going to pick.
It is. It's awesome. You don't remember Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
You can make a video. I don't remember.
It had the best title, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I don't remember. Are your shows, do you do video as well as audio or just audio?
Just audio.
Oh man, see, that's a shame. If you did video, you could like do the worm force and everything, get a little wave action going on. We'll even nickname you Turbo for the night. That's fine though. If you if you don't want to do it, that's cool though. Yeah, that's cool.
Fun fact about Breaking and Breaking 2, that is one movie and sequel that came out in the same year.
Yes, I think they filmed them both practically at the same time.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Pretty close.
You know, back to back or something.
Yeah.
That was something that those two guys really didn't have anything else going on except for some music videos with Shaka Khan doing some choreography.
But one of the first cameo appearances of Jean-Claude Van Damme as a breakdancer.
Yes,
in the first Breaking movie.
That is a fun fact for sure, right there. If anybody has ever seen Breaking, go back to where they're at the beach, where the character Kelly first gets introduced to Turbo and Ozone. And when you see them out there dancing in the background, there is Jean-Claude doing that little
whatever
crazy clapping his hands, turning side to side a little bit, you know,
little hip action.
Yeah, like he did in Kickboxer, you know, a little bit of that, you know. Definitely not disappointed with that one. You should do that. So I'll be looking for your Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. Just let me know when you do it so I can be sure to get ready for that one.
Oh yeah, I'll probably have you as the co-host on that one.
The music was good. I can talk about the music for a while. That's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They had some good songs.
So were you a break dancer back in the day? Did you try?
Do I look like I could break dance?
Well, we don't.
Dude, I was absent the day you talked graceful.
We look nothing like we looked when we were 10 and 12 years old. So.
Okay, well maybe I tried one too many head spins. That's what happened to my hair then. I don't know. That could be it. Right. You know what? In all seriousness, we all tried that stuff when we were that age.
Of course we did.
And
but we were all afraid to do the head spin because our parents told us that someone did it and broke their neck.
Yes, I was told the exact same story. It's like parents got together at the grocery store,
right?
And they said, "What can we tell our kids to make them quit acting like idiots in the front yard?" We'll tell them some kid snapped his neck last week trying the same thing. That's what we'll do. No, I was not.
Pop Rocks and Coke, right?
Yes, exactly. Although I've seen it done many a time. And I was not very graceful as a kid for dancing, for sure. I was not very good at it at all. I mean, there was the usual, you know, like a little wave or a worm that the kids could do.
Oh yeah.
But when you get really into it, no.
Yeah, the moonwalk is about all I could do. That
I
was
would
it.
look more. I look more like somebody having a seizure. That's what it looked like. I mean, it was terrible. Anyway, that does sound cool, though. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, I look forward to a lot of your shows coming out and everything. Some of that's a really good idea. Summer sequels works out well. And seriously, people, follow this guy. He's got a great show. You won't be disappointed. You'll love what he does, like what we do. Somebody asked me, Tim, too
Hmm.
long ago. Oh, you mentioned about behind the scenes and how it's filmed and stuff. They actually asked me something along the lines of, when you talk about your movies that you do, why don't you ever get real in depth with the filming and stuff? And I'm
Hmm.
like, well, I mean, it's not really what we do. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Every
th-
podcast has its own little thing. What it's known for. They can't all be the same.
right. I mean, it's like I didn't even really think about that's what you do with yours. I never really gave too much consideration to yours. Is a lot of behind the scenes. I just know that I like what I hear when I listen to your show and everything. So I
I
mean,
appreciate it.
but you and I both listen to another show that's
Hmm.
does the same with what we do, but they do theirs even a little bit
Oh
different.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got their own little twist, whether it's the type of shows you record, what you're doing when you're recording it. For this show here, we just like to sit and talk and reminisce on the fun stuff with the movie, like we've
Yeah.
done all 56 minutes right now. We're we're right at the end of the show practically almost, and we've just talked about some of the highlights of the funny parts of the movie. We talked about some of the people in the movie and other things they've done that we've
Hmm.
liked and enjoyed.
Hmm.
That's just the kind of thing we do here. So like he says, everybody's got their own little spiel of what they do, and this is how we do things here. So I definitely recommend you to the '80s flick splashback if you want how the movie was filmed. Definitely break it down for you. As far as this show goes, just to let you guys know, as usual, we are on iTunes, Spotify, all your basic places that you're going to get your podcast, as well as a web page now. So www.retrolife, the number 4, the letter U.com, retrolifeforyou.com. Um, remember, Tim, I was talking to you a while back about how was the website doing for you? And since having the website, I think I've noticed a little bit of a difference for the show.
Very good.
You get the player on site and everything. You can go straight
Hmm.
to the site. Everybody, you listen to the show straight from there. You can listen to past episodes straight from there, or you can click on your player of choice and it'll take you to that area. Whether you want to go to Spotify or pull up their webpage, you want to go to the iTunes, listen to it there. Anything you want to do, you can do it from there. So it's all good. So Instagram, Facebook, we're on there now. Tim, you're on Instagram.
Yep,
I don't recall though if you have Facebook. You do have Facebook,
I
don't you?
do. Yeah, we have a Facebook. I have a Facebook page for the podcast, and also I have a group that's movie views, news and reviews, which is kind of where the podcast came out of. So
Yeah.
I have two things, and then I'm on Twitter, but I don't not very active on Twitter, and I'm also on TikTok, which I've kind of slowed down my TikTok content as well. But you can find some cool. I did some series about forgotten '80s flicks and musical moments that are pretty
Exactly.
fun that you can check out over there.
See, I didn't bring up TikTok or Twitter either because, like you said, Twitter is not really. I don't know, something about Twitter just it's I don't like very much. And TikTok, I just people. If I had the kind of time I want for this, I'd be
Yeah,
1,000 downloads an
yeah,
episode by now, and
yeah,
I am nowhere near that.
yeah.
So,
That's really
uh,
why I slow down on TikTok because it takes a little bit more time to create the content for TikTok to
yeah,
be, to kind of be on that level or whatever. And I just don't have that kind of time like I did a couple of months ago. So,
yeah. The only
but
thing I got going for TikTok is just some basic clips I put up there
mhm, yeah,
with a little stinger intro and outro on
yeah.
it.
But I mean, if it's another way to get the show out there, I mean, I've gotten great feedback from TikTok and got a lot of great hits and views and stuff, and met some cool people that way. So
It's
it's
definitely
one.
fun to do.
Yeah, it's done. It's fun to do. I just don't have the time to commit. Like you said, if this was my full time gig, man, I'd be doing a lot more stuff social media wise and even stuff with the website. But
Exactly. I mean, and as far as TikTok goes, what I told you, what I put up there, like
mhm,
I just take clips from the movies. These are
yeah,
some of my favorite clips from favorite scenes from the movies
yeah,
that I'm throwing
yeah,
up there. And surprisingly, some of them get banned right off the bat.
yeah, yeah. You do have to.
Copyrights.
Yep, copyrights will get you.
I mean, it's crazy how a little small 30-second clip from a movie is instantly flagged. But you just got to be careful of what you're doing. Pay attention. Test it. You can test it these days first to see if it's
Hmm.
going to be flagged. And if it is,
Yep,
discard
yep.
it and move to the next one. Oh well, not that big of a deal. Tim, well, thanks, man, for coming out here with me again this week. It's been a while since we've had you on. It's always
Yeah,
great.
man.
It's always fun. So
Thanks for having me anytime.
definitely glad to have you on. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to check Tim out, catch his stuff, and we will see you guys next week. So hope everybody had a good time. Tim, once again, thanks for being here. Have a great night, man.
You too. Appreciate it.